Hey folks, lyarri here. Today we're going to react to Have You Questioned Your Sexuality? Lesbians vs. Straight Women, Middle Ground by Jubilee. I mean, I'm a lesbian, but I don't think I'm going to have any insight on this, but it should be fun to watch. Let's go.
Middle Ground is a social experiment that brings humans with opposing beliefs together. These discussions may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
I like the double content warning.
I'm a black woman and I'm a dominant black woman, so I must be gay. I must be a lesbian.
What is that though? Why does everyone always say oh, you look like a lesbian? What is that? What does a lesbian look like?
It's true.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. It's normal for straight women to feel some attraction towards women.
I mean, okay, if you're attracted to a woman, then you're obviously not you can acknowledge someone's attractive, but not be attracted to them. I feel like there's definitely a line. I guess you could be attracted to someone, but not want to do something with someone. But I don't know. I didn't mute it. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I think that is completely normal. Women are attractive. We are cute. We are hot. We're fiery. And yes, we're attracted to each other.
I've actually been
Okay.
on maybe 2 dates with women because women are attractive and they're beautiful people.
My feeling has always been that it's because I've had a past relationship with a man that was significant. Folks have said, well, you should identify as bisexual, right? And I'm like, interesting, because ultimately to me, calling yourself a label is not so much a labeling as it is an identifying, and it's you end up choosing.
That's true.
And so you can stop where you want, right? I think there's the journey, and then for me it was no, I stopped at lesbian and I'm staying here.
Yeah.
So that's the word that I'm using.
Yeah, you do define your label and how you orient yourself. That's important. Oh God, why am I reacting to this? I'm not the best person.
I do have a follow-up question. Have you thought about women while masturbating?
Yes. Again, women are sexy. Even for me, and I'm a straight woman, I don't always like straight, can I say the P word?
Okay, that's true.
Porn. I don't necessarily like
I
straight
get what she
porn.
means.
Don't they say
Like,
statistically that women in general, straight or not, watch gay porn because you're looking at the woman having
love that.
pleasure. And
Yeah, and it's very different how the production values usually.
It's that pleasure sensation that we're looking for that I don't always get when I'm watching men and
Okay.
women.
That actually makes sense because I was a late bloomer and I found out what porn was when I was 17. When I saw it, I was like, oh, sex is for the man, because that's kind of how it looked. It's for the man, it's for the man to feel good. It never clicked to me oh, you're supposed to also feel something. So I understand what you say when you mean that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Sarah, and I'm a straight woman. Physically, I've had attraction towards women. I had a crush on a girl.
Yeah,
but
that's true. There's a difference between physical and emotional attraction.
that was it, really, just a crush. Other than that, I haven't really thought about getting intimate with women sexually or romantically.
Girly girl and tomboy are problematic terms.
Personally, elementary school, I was the only girl at boys' birthday parties.
I appreciate
Because a lot of my
all of these
friends
people.
were boys, and I was just told, oh, Claire's just a tomboy. I mean, I was a dress-wearing girl. I had bike ramps in my front yard. I wanted to do all that stuff, and so she's a tomboy. And that kind of fuzzied my queerness for me. And growing up, I was very hyper femme. I got Easter dresses and wore them year round, those big tulle Easter dresses.
I did that too.
The best. But I was then looked at as a girly girl. So it's she can't be gay if she looks this way.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
hard when you tell someone what they
What
are.
they are, yeah.
So that's
That's
the only
true.
thing that I'm that could be problematic because, like you said, it fuzzied it for you, and that's why I think
Yeah, if you define yourself as a girly girl or a tomboy, that's different. I like what you're saying.
it's problematic because you can't put someone in a certain place. They have to do it themselves.
I think if you're self-labeling, it's fine, but like
Yeah.
putting someone else
Agreed.
into it, not great. Hi, my name is Claire. I'm 23 years old, and I am team lesbian. Compulsive heteronormativity is definitely
I
a
love her.
problem. It's when you grow up being assumed as straight. That definitely happened for me. I grew up with only straight role models, watching only straight people on TV. All I saw was straight culture, and I had those feelings start to develop that I thought were wrong, and I was repressing and pushing them down. So I definitely think compulsive heteronormativity is a problem in society, and we need to have a lot more queer role models in all our communities.
So I think there's a split here to be made between being womanly and being feminine, right? Like I feel womanly, but I'm masculine in terms of my presentation. And I also I'm gonna say this, being feminine has emotional qualities and being masculine has emotional qualities.
Yeah, the expectation is I must be submissive. I must
Yes.
be the one because I am female by default. I'm the submissive one. I am very dominant. I'm dominant in the way that I present
You can
myself
tell.
when I'm in a room. And so men, especially, they're the ones who will suggest. I'm a black woman and I'm a dominant black woman, so I must be gay. I must be a lesbian. I must be a lesbian.
What is that though? Like, why does everyone always say like, oh, you look like a lesbian? What is that? What does a lesbian look like? There is no look. It's just what you are and who you are. I mean, my mom, when I came out, my mom was like, okay, well, you're a lesbian, so why do you date women that like to dress like men? Okay, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they want to wear. That's what they want to wear. Okay, great.
So I was gonna ask you guys a question. Like, do you feel girly girl or tomboy?
I present
Tom
like, in
Tom.
a more feminine way, but I feel like internally, I don't know if I'm masculine, but I feel like I embody a lot of like male traits where I'm like, I think with logic and I'm like strong and don't really like say how I feel, but like externally I'm feminine.
But also it does like pose difficulty when I'm out like wanting to look at girls. A lot of time like I'm making eye contact and they're like, why is this girl looking at me?
The way the patriarchy functions is that it's like divide women and conquer women. Divide and conquer, right? We're supposed to fight with each other. We're supposed to compete over men specifically. Like,
Yeah,
I don't, you know.
sometimes I feel like I always want to believe the best in women, but I feel like we've all had that thing where we're like, why is that girl staring at me? Did she not like me? Like, is she mean? Like,
right,
what's going
right.
on?
So
Maybe
some
she,
fights?
yeah, maybe she just likes me. Maybe she thinks I'm cute, and I'll think that next time. Maybe I'm like, hi, I'm Dia, and I'm straight. Whenever I saw Walk a Flock of Flame for the first time, I knew that that was my lane. I did go through a phase where I was trying to see if I was interested in girls,
Okay.
but then it usually always led back to men.
I have been confused by my sexual orientation.
It's also like sexuality is fluid and can change over time and stuff. Like that's, as far as I know, that's normal. Not like an expert, but
I think like there was a time in my life where I was like, oh, boys are great. And then I got hurt, like a real hurt, where I was just like, man, need a break. And so then I was kind of like, well, where do I go next? And so, you know, I went on my dates as I told you. And I just haven't found a woman that, you know, makes me go, you know?
I mean, personally, like I'm still confused every day, and I think sexuality is so fluid. Like you can always be changing how you feel, and it's also like this attachment to still holding on hope that maybe I'll like a guy, or maybe like I could feel something with a guy. And even like identifying on like the lesbian side was hard for me because I still hold on to that label of being bisexual because I've dated men and because I still know I can like make myself in a way like men. So it's like, do I like men because I like men, or because I've grown up thinking I should?
Because they gave us that dream that you're supposed to find that Prince Charming and you're supposed to fall in love and have these kids, and it's supposed to be like this thing. So
In my life, I had this plan out, like I'm gonna get married to a surfer guy. We're gonna have all these cute little kids, and it's gonna be great. And I went on a date. It was my first date with a boy in high school, and I was like, he's gonna hold my hand at the movie theater. Oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. And he touched me, and I did this. And my body knew before my head knew. Queer was not used that often. Middle school, high school, the derogatory term was gay. That's gay. She's gay. That meant lame. So for me, I'm like, I'm not gay. I don't think I'm lame. So fell under queer, gay, lesbian as I got comfortable, and deconstructed those labels myself.
I think that family does play a huge role. I was married to a man for 6 years. It was a little bit hard for me to actually like have the courage to come out because I do come from a very strict Latina household. I tried to force myself into, you know, being in a heterosexual relationship for the sake of my family, for the sake of the what if it doesn't work out with a woman, or me being scared and terrified. So I think that confusion is a very normal thing in everyone.
I would say the most confusing element of things for me was literally the sexual aspect of my sexual orientation, because I was in a relationship with a man for like 7 years, and I learned over time that like the dynamic that we had when we had sex was the dynamic that I wanted, but I didn't want to be the me in it. Then I slowly started to identify as a butch. I remember someone saying this, and I don't know who it was, but somebody looked at me and said, butch women couldn't get a man, so they're trying to be one. It was like a double failure. My name is Rachel.
Oh my God.
And I'm on the lesbian side. Heteronormativity in the sense of a set of norms that disciplines people and subjugates them is certainly a problem, especially in the way that it impacts
I do
girls
love her fit.
who are supposed to have a man, or, as they say about butch women, try to be one. That's not to say that heterosexuality is a problem. It's not crazy for people to be heterosexual, just like it's not crazy that gay feeling and sexuality is also natural.
In my experience, I've only been with men sexually and on dates, so I just haven't had that experience myself. But if I were to, at any point, have those experiences with women, I wouldn't put a label in it.
The reason why I disagreed about being conflicted, there's some things I don't ever explain to other people. This is one of them. I don't explain to you who I take home. I don't explain to you what I do in my room. I don't explain any of that. I like women. I've been on dates with women. I've done what I do with women and men. But I'm not going to label myself just so somebody else can put me in a category.
I get what she's saying. I feel like there's an element here where she's trying really hard just not to call herself bi or like a lesbian or bi, right? She really wants to label herself straight.
Always wanted to know this. Why is it so important that you are identified correctly? And the need to come out, the need to say, I am this, I am that.
Personally, I saw just this straight
I do agree
side
with
of
her.
life.
Like, I respect that.
I wasn't feeling the same way my friends were, and like when you get middle school, high school, college, I felt wrong. I was going to disappoint my family. I was going to be looked at my whole life as something less than. And if labels are not important to you, I think it's a personal thing. But for me, finding people that were saying like, this is why I feel this way, I'm like, I felt that way too.
When you said, well, why is it such a big
I really like I think Claire, I really like what Claire said there.
to come out of the closet? Like, imagine being in a closet. It's dark, it's lonely, like, you don't have anyone to express your feelings to. And I also think representation is so important.
Yes.
Like, personally, I grew up with a mom and a dad. Then my parents split up, and now my mom is married to a woman. And they were actually the first Black same-sex couple to be on the cover of Essence magazine. Wow. So I just feel like, I know, right? Representation is so important.
What if there were no labels? What would that look like?
There would be no community. There would be no, I feel like if there were no labels, it's sad to say, but I feel like a lot of people would be in the closet, would be in the dark. Hi, my name is Amy.
I get what, like, I like what, like, she's saying this thing where, like, why does society say I have to label myself? And then but I also like the counterpoint with, like, but these labels allow us to find each other and foster a sense of community and stuff, and it does genuinely help people. And, like, I don't know, it's an interesting argument. I feel like both ideas can coexist.
And I am a lesbian. I did hide myself for a very long time just because I do come from a very strict household. I did endure, you know, actually being in that hetero relationship and actually experiencing it firsthand. It took me like a whole year of me basically ignoring him for me to finally realize, like, I can't be doing this. Like, this is not who I am. This is not what I want for the rest of my life.
I believe traditional gender roles are important.
I wasn't
They're
expecting
important to
3
a
people to
degree.
move forward.
You know, if a man were to date a woman and they were to get married, you would expect the man to provide and the woman to, well, stay home or work and just raise the children. If we didn't have those gender norms, then, well, how would the world work?
The reason
I think you can talk it out.
I said that I agree is because the word role is that word for a reason. A role is a performance. So it's not, we don't need to naturalize it. We don't need to say women are this one and men are this one, or whatever your body is means your destiny is this. I just think that as social performances and ways of organizing our lives, we're not ever going to really get rid of the masculine, feminine thing. So I think acknowledging it so that we can think critically about it is what matters.
I get, like, essentially she's saying that you need someone who is able to focus more on working and someone who's able to focus more on, like, taking care of the kids and the estate while also probably working, which I get, but I don't think that you necessarily need to assign that to, like, feminine or masculine qualities. I don't know. This I am not sure I agree with anyone so far.
I believe we're in a space where we're starting to like tear down things that we're not entirely understanding or appreciating why it was built. We have to appreciate that we have to have some type of structure. Now, does that structure mean that because I'm born with a certain genitalia, this is the role I'm destined to be in? I don't know. It depends on which society you belong to. I don't want to do everything. I don't. That's why gender roles are important too. You're designating, this is what you do, this is what I do.
Really bad timing to pause. But I again, I don't think that you need to, like, you can just talk this out and be like, this is what I like.
I think that's okay. I am Marsha and I am straight. I think a lot of the decisions that we make come from pre-programming. For one, I'm Jamaican born. In Jamaica, being homosexual is a no. We don't do that. There was only one way. You were straight. That was it. So part of my decision is definitely my upbringing, but it's also from my experiences and realizing this is my fit. This works better for me.
Me and my girlfriend, we don't perform gender roles at all. Like, we care for each other equally, and it's definitely a bit different, I think.
Do y'all live together?
No.
That makes a difference.
But for the past 3 weeks, we've been living together, though, so.
That may shift the longer you live together.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know why like certain household responsibilities should be defined by gender, especially because like I grew up with 2 moms, so I never was like, oh, like this is like my mom and my dad, like this is my mom, and both my parents worked. They like threw my ass in daycare, and it was just like, in a way, I guess I had 2 dads if you want to like put it in that way. But like I think it's like about a balance of like sharing responsibility, you know.
Okay, see, I like what Jamie said.
The gender roles are important mean that we're saying that they should be employed, because I'm not saying that they should be forced on anybody. It's just whether and how much you want to like take it on.
They should not.
Okay, yeah, using them as like a reference. Like, hey, we need to deal with these things. Sure.
Be forced on everybody. But when you were talking about doing the dishes and whatnot, my ex-husband was the person who stayed at home. I was the one who was at work. He was the one that was doing the dishes and cooking.
The world would be a better place without men.
That's such a bait question. Oh my God.
Well, I was just like thinking historically, like men have been the ones that have caused wars and created a place where women didn't have the same respect or capacity to be heard.
I was really wondering who would go for this.
Easier in a sense for me personally. I think a lot of the times men don't understand that I could be a woman that doesn't want to end up with a man, that they want to like change me, or a man and a woman is like the only right way. Hi, my name is Jamie and I am on the lesbian side. I think it just comes down to that I know I'm capable of being with men and I find them attractive and like I could see myself being with them sexually, but like romantically, I don't think I could ever really connect to a man.
Them giving her them starting to give her bio right out. She said, "Yeah, I think it'd be better if men don't exist." This is the weirdest thing. It does not work.
With men's power, so to speak.
So
against,
eerily
like,
silent.
almost 2 you know, look what's happening today with the old white men trying to control abortion or women's bodies. But today, I think we would still need them in the world just to have at least a different perspective.
Yep. I mean, I really struggled with this question because looking back, the only person in my life who's ever hit me was
Okay. Genocide isn't good, right? Like, I feel like it's an easy answer.
a femme lesbian. I have had experiences with kind of unwanted sexual advances and things with men, and all of that's been bad too, but like my very worst trauma that is just stuck with me was a woman.
I don't think it'd be better without men, but I do think men need to be a little more educated on things. Even how we're treated in school by boys, like growing up was always.
If they hurt you, they like you. If they yank on your pigtails.
So I don't think we
then
should
you
like
have a crush on them.
abolish all men, but I do think there needs to be some leveling out.
I think that definitely we're getting there. I feel like because of what men.
Like, that's like the normal place to take this conversation or this question, I feel like. Like, no, like, clearly, no. Don't, like, it's not even genocide, right? Because the hypothesis is that probably you're implying that, like, men just magically wouldn't exist, right? It's not, like, literal genocide. But still, like, the normal place to then take this question is a bit of a bait question, would be what Claire said. Respect.
Have done in the past, you know, in our history. I feel like that's why they have this superiority over all of the women. But I do think that we are here because of what we've gone through.
I like this, the emotion. It's just literally the entire thing. They just talked. It was very smooth. It's a cool fast forward. Uh-oh.
Middle ground.
So, yeah, I actually really like that Jubilee. I felt like at the beginning I'd have nothing to say, and I actually ended up having some stuff to say. So that's pretty cool. It was definitely like one of the more like you could tell they very much like tried to have like a civil conversation, and they came there to have like a discussion, I felt like. And like I feel like that one like the one like straight white lady was like super like at the beginning she was like I am out of my depth a little bit. I think she warmed up a bit as it went on. I hate the term this person looks straight, lesbian, gay, act. The amount of times people question me when I tell them I'm not straight is aggravating, just because I present femme. There's no look for sexuality. This is very true. Like, I think, like, it can be helpful, in a sense, to know, like, what stereotypes are associated with different ways, because then you can present yourself intentionally in that way. But the counterbalance of that is there's a lot of people who dislike how different things look, and then unintentionally step into, like, this bit. And that's not good. I'm not a fan of that. Most of these women are expressing some level of fluidity. If bisexuality was ultimately rejected across the board. As a bisexual woman, I don't understand why there's still so much pressure to pick a side, when a legitimate middle ground does exist, and why are so many uncomfortable with that label? I agree with this. I think, like, it's interesting because, if you look at, like, research data on, like, Pew and stuff, I think it's been changing over time. Like, the amount of identification for like bisexuals is like significantly up, especially among women, whereas like the amount of lesbians aren't up by as much, right? And like straight people are obviously down. So I think it's interesting how these folks, who I think seemed in general like a little on the older side than like, I mean obviously she wasn't, but like 30 plus at least, I would say, a good amount of these folks. And I think that generation gap does exist. And she has like she is specifically had like a lot of very interesting views that seemed informed by a lot of different things. But besides that, can we get another episode with an older age group / generation of straight women and lesbians? This would be a bit more complex in that they've lived through a culture shift and they have more complex POV. Yeah, like another episode with like people over 50, because I feel like at most you can say like some of these people are like mid-20s to early 30s probably. And I feel like even that, like, there's a big culture shift, which I guess is what I was saying before. Yeah. As a lesbian, I was bracing myself to hate this, but it was surprisingly wholesome. Only person I didn't agree with was Sarah, with her inability to understand how a household would work without stereotypical gender roles. To be fair, she went first, and I feel like she probably would have been a little more understanding afterwards. Sarah was the purple shirt, I believe. Alright. I think that's good. Well, it was a good video. But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to talk about in general with, like, sexuality and stuff. And, like, what is it? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, folks. Hey, folks. Lyarri here. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe to me on YouTube, on Twitch, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.